Just move on to the next topic, that is viscosity. लास्ट लेक्चर में हमने देखा कि व्हाट इज क्रिटिकल वेलोसिटी एंड व्हाट इज रेनॉल्ड्स नंबर, एंड इन दैट इक्वेशन वी फाउंड वन टर्म दैट इज कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ विस्कोसिटी. दो एग्जांपल्स अगर हम कंसिडर करेंगे, सपोज वाटर व्हेन इट इज पोर इनटू द कंटेनर लाइक अ ग्लास, इट मूव्स फास्टर एंड क्विकली, बट when the syrup or honey is poured into the glass or in a container, it does not move smoothly because such fluids experiences a friction from inside as well as from the outside in a surrounding, and because of that friction there is a dragging force. There is a dragging force between the adjacent layer of the fluids. ये देखो एग्जाम्पल, दैट इज विस्कस फ्लूइड. व्हेन द विस्कस फ्लूइड इज पोर्ड इनटू द कंटेनर, द एडजेसेंट लेयर हैज अ वेलोसिटी विद कंपैरिजन टू ईच अदर लाइक दिस. फॉर एग्जांपल, ये जो सेंटर का जो लेयर होगा इसका वेलोसिटी विल बी फास्टर एंड दीज एडजेसेंट लेयर्स विल हैव लेसर वेलोसिटी कंपेयर टू सेंट्रल वन. अगर हम लोग रिवर की बात करें तो एट द कॉर्नर साइड the fluid has the water has less velocity, और जैसे जैसे आप अंदर जाओगे, as we go inside the velocity increases gradually, and at the center the velocity of the layer will be maximum. Okay, but in case of a non-viscous fluid, all the layers are in a parallel to each other. It shows that there is no such dragging force or there is no such friction, or friction is zero. The fluid, if we characterize, only helium at liquid state about 2000 degrees Celsius is the only fluid which is not viscous. Otherwise all the fluids will have certain percentage or certain level of viscosity. Okay, so the viscosity is defined as the property of a fluid by which the adjacent layer of the fluid experiences a dragging force, and such force is called as viscous drag. Now we have shown the viscous fluid which has an adjacent layer as shown in the figure. The top layer will have a greater velocity. As we move to the stationary layer, towards the stationary layer, its velocity start decreasing, or we can say as we move away from the stationary layer, the velocity of the fluid or molecules of a fluid increases gradually, and also the distance from the stationary layer is also increasing. So यहाँ पे एक term mention किया है, that is velocity gradient. So velocity gradient is the ratio of the perpendicular distance from the stationary layer, or a fixed distance, or the distance from the fixed layer divided by. So the velocity gradient is defined as the rate of change of velocity with respect to the distance of the layer from stationary layer. Okay, so this is called as velocity gradient. Now we just come to the next point, that is coefficient of viscosity. First of all, the dragging force experienced between the adjacent layer of the fluid, that F is directly proportional to, first it is A. A stands for area of a layer. It is not an area of a cross section. It is area of a layer, and dV by dx is called as velocity gradient. So this viscous force is directly proportional to the area of a layer and the velocity gradient. So if we equate this equation, F is equal to eta A dV upon dx, where eta stands for the coefficient of viscosity. हम वही टॉपिक की बात कर रहे थे प्रीवियस सेक्शन में, that is coefficient of viscosity. So we get a formula of coefficient of viscosity is force upon A divided by dV by dx. So इसे हम derive कर सकते हैं. Suppose area of a stationary area of a parallel layer is constant and the velocity gradient is 1 meter per second, we can say, or second inverse. Okay, this is dv upon dx का यूनिट हो जाएगा सेकेंड इनवर्स. सो n इज इक्वल टू f. सो यहाँ से हम डिफाइन कर सकते हैं द कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ विस्कोसिटी इज डिफाइंड एज द विस्कस ड्रैग experienced by the adjacent layer of the fluid per unit area of a parallel layer per unit rise in velocity gradient, per unit velocity gradient. So this is the viscosity and the coefficient of viscosity. That's okay. So suppose a spherical body or spherical ball shape of material is dropped into the fluid or such as liquid, water, oil, kerosene, petrol, etc. So that sphere experiences a dragging force or viscous force that is actually acting between the adjacent layer of the fluid. तो ये जो viscous force है that can be given with the help of the Stokes law, and the Stokes law says that the viscous force acting on a body, spherical body, dropped into the liquid is directly proportional to, कुछ टर्म्स दिए हैं, डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू फर्स्ट द कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ विस्कोसिटी, सेकेंड द वेलोसिटी विथ विच द स्फेरिकल बॉल और स्फेरिकल मटेरियल इज ड्रॉप्ड इनटू द फ्लूइड, देन r, that is the radius of a sphere or a spherical ball. So I again repeat, the Stokes law states that the viscous force acting on a sphere is directly proportional to the first term, that is coefficient of viscosity, second the velocity with which the spherical body is dropped into the liquid or a fluid, and the radius of a sphere. So we have mentioned the factors, that is viscous force of acting on a sphere, that is Fv, n is the coefficient of viscosity, r is the radius of a sphere, and velocity of a sphere in a fluid. That's it. So according to the formula, Fv is directly proportional to n, that is eta rv, and this is equivalent to Fv is 6 pi nrv. जब हम ये फॉर्मूला, ये जो रिलेशन है, empirically if we solve, we get the constant of this directly proportional is 6 pi. That's why Fv is equal to 6 pi nrv. That's it. Okay. Now we are going to derive the expression for the terminal velocity of a sphere when it is dropped into the specific fluid. As we all know that when we drop a sphere in a fluid such as oil or water, this sphere will have higher velocity or greater velocity initially, and as it moves down it achieves the constant velocity. Okay, if it is dropped into the fluid like oil or rocket, sometimes we observe that at some level the velocity, that terminal velocity becomes 0, but initially it will be having greater velocity. So when such a spherical body or material or a ball is dropped into the fluid such as oil or water, so if we imagine there are three forces that actually acting on the spherical body. पहला तो सबसे easy and force है, that is its downward weight or the gravitational force. So that is W, that is equivalent to its weight. So तीन फोर्स में से पहला फोर्स है the weight of the sphere. Second force है that the viscous force, because this fluid is viscous, so there will be a viscous force among the adjacent layer of the fluid. जैसे कि हमने previous section में देखा, when the sphere is dropped into the layer, so layer get away from the sphere, or it get detract, or we can say away from the layer. So such fluid exert a viscous force on the spherical drop. And third force is the upthrust, that is, or buoyant force that is acting in upward direction. So first there is a weight or gravitational force acting in downward direction. Second, the viscous force, that is force acting on a sphere by the adjacent layer of the fluid, that is also in the upward direction. And third, the upthrust or buoyant force acting on a sphere in a upward direction. So if we balance this equation, since the body is moving in the downward direction with the increasing or decreasing velocity, so it will have the net force. If we imagine that net downward force is F, then it should be the gravitational force, that is Fg minus of Fv and Fu. ये Fv and Fu upward direction में है, वेट और ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स डाउनवर्ड डायरेक्शन में है. नेट इफेक्ट आप ये देख रहे हैं कि स्फीयर इज गोइंग डाउन द लिक्विड, सो इसका मतलब है डाउनवर्ड फोर्स इज ग्रेटर देन द अपवर्ड फोर्स. सो Fg माइनस ब्रैकेट में Fv प्लस Fu. After some time, what happens that the sphere becomes stable, or a constant velocity it achieves. Okay, so if it achieves the constant velocity, the net force F becomes zero. That is, upward force and the downward force become equal. In such a case, we can say that Fg is equal to Fv plus Fu. So अगर ये इक्वेशन हम इक्वेट करेंगे that Fg is equal to Fv plus Fu. Now Fg means the gravitational force, that is mass into gravity. Okay. अब यहाँ पे थोड़ा कंसिडरेशन करते हैं. Suppose rho is the density of a sphere and sigma is the density of a fluid. As we can observe that the density of a sphere is greater than the density of a fluid. That's why when it is dropped, its total weight is mass into gravity. But mass into gravity means volume into density into gravity. Since the sphere are of spherical in nature, so its volume becomes 4 by 3 pi r cube rho into g, where r stands for the radius of a sphere. Similarly, 6 pi nRd, it is the viscous force acting on a sphere. And third force, that is the upthrust acting on a sphere by the liquid. That's why here the formula is 4 by 3 pi r cube sigma into g. यहाँ पे sigma इसलिए है because this upthrust is given by the liquid. So density of the liquid we have to take. So if we cancel out pi and r cube में से एक स्क्वायर में से एक स्क्वायर निकाल देंगे, r एक टर्म निकाल देंगे, so we can reduce this equation because pi and r is constant everywhere. So it will remain 4 by 3 r square sigma g, 6 n v because pi और r निकल जाएंगे, और यहाँ पे भी 4 by 3 pi और ये क्यूब में से एक टर्म निकल जाएगा, रिमेन स्क्वायर सिग्मा जी. सो पाई और आर निकल जाएगा तो इक्वेशन मिलेगा 4 by 3 आर स्क्वायर सिग्मा रो जी इक्वल टू 6 nv प्लस 4 by 3 आर स्क्वायर सिग्मा जी. सो इफ वी टेक दिस टर्म in the left part of the equation, we can take 4 by 3 r square g common, rho minus sigma equal to 6 nv. So finally, after solving this, we get an equation that v is equal to 2 by 9 r square g rho minus sigma divided by n. I again repeat, when the spherical body or sphere is dropped into the fluid, when it is dropped into the fluid, it has three forces acting on it. Two forces are in upward direction, one force in a downward direction. The downward force is its weight or gravitational force, and the upward force is One is the viscous force given by the liquid layer of adjacent layers of the liquid, and second is the upthrust or buoyant force. But since the body is moving in a downward direction with a certain acceleration in the initial state, so the net force is in the downward direction, that is Fg minus Fv plus Fu. But after certain time of interval, what happens that it becomes stable, the velocity becomes stable, so the net force acting downward is become 0. So if we equate Fg is equal to Fv plus Fu, बस अभी यहाँ पे Fg मतलब डाउनवर्ड फोर्स था और यहाँ पे Fu मतलब अपथ्रस्ट है. If we balance this equation, we can derive the expression for terminal velocity. That's it. So we just move on to the next topic, that is equation of continuity. To understand this, let us assume that the incompressible fluid of a steady flow is flowing into the certain pipe which has the variable diameter or area of cross section. एक वेरिंग डायमीटर या एरिया ऑफ क्रॉस सेक्शन वाला पाइप या सेक्शन थ्रू विच द इनकम्प्रेसिबल फ्लूइड इज फ्लोइंग विच हैज अ स्टेडी फ्लो. नाउ it means that it has a steady flow. The velocity of the molecule in a fluid at a respective point is constant, but when the fluid is flowing from the smaller area of cross section to larger area of cross section, the velocity decreases, and when it moves to the narrower part of the tube, the velocity of the fluid molecule suddenly increases because it has to pass through the narrow section quickly. Than this reason के वजह से जो velocity होता है that is at a wider region is less as compared to the narrower region. So if we imagine that there is a pipe as shown in the figure which has different area of cross section, let us assume that at point A and B of this tube, the area of cross section is A1 and A2 respectively. Okay, in a specific time, the mass of a fluid is always constant. That's why if we imagine that the velocity at the respective points or respective places in a tube is V1 and V2. When the fluid is entering from the wider region to narrow region, the velocity increases. That's why we can say that here V2 is greater than V1. Let delta t is a specific time through which the molecules or fluids move through the pipe. So we have shaded this region is A1 and this region is A2. Okay, so A1 and A2 are the area of cross section of a pipe at point A and B as mentioned. Now when we say that के molecules या fluids wider region से narrow region में आते हैं, तो जो velocity increase होता है उसका simple reason ये है कि जो specific mass of a fluid है that has to pass through that cross area of cross section. Since molecules of the fluid cannot go outside the tube, so the molecules in a specific region remains constant. Hence, these molecules have to acquire the faster velocity. Exactly opposite when they move from the narrow region to the wider region, automatically speed decreases. So we can say that in a specific duration of time, the mass of a fluid passes through any area of cross section that should remain constant. That means if we say the mass of a fluid coming out of the B part is equal to the mass of a fluid that reaches to A part. So if we equate these two equations, that mass of a fluid at section A and mass of a fluid in a section B, rho A1 V1 delta T, because if we take mass mass is nothing but volume into density, and the volume will be area into length into rho, yeah, we can say area into height. Here we can say height is V1 into delta T, so we take A V delta T and rho. So that's why the mass at A becomes rho A1 V1 delta T, where rho is the density of a fluid that is passing through that section or a pipe. So rho A1 V1 delta T is equal to rho A2 V2 delta T. So ये जो terms है, that is rho is the density of a fluid, A is the area of cross section, तो A1 will be area of cross section at A and B, तो यहाँ पे होगा area of cross section A2. V1 and V2 are the velocity of a molecules of a fluid or a velocity of a fluid at A and B respectively, and delta T is a constant. So ये जो दो terms है, that is the density and the time, if we cancel out, it remains A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. That means के AV जो है, that is constant in a fluid, that also called as the volume rate of a flow. Volume rate of a flow. So dV by dt, that is the particular volume passing through any cross section area of a tube per unit time is called as volume flux. The volume of a fluid passing through any area of a cross section per unit time is called as volume flux. Similarly, if we multiply with the density, then we get mass of flux, that is mass flux is the product of density into volume flux. So this is the equation of continuity. I again repeat, we took the incompressible fluid in a pipe which has a different area of cross section at different parts of the tube, and we imagine that A1 and A2 are the area of a cross section at A and B respectively. So in a specific time of interval, the mass of a fluid leaving one place, it should be equal to mass of a fluid entering into the another, because liquid cannot go outside the tube or outside fluid cannot come into the tube. That's why the volume mass of a fluid that emerging from the B will always be equal to the mass of a fluid reaches at A. So यहाँ पे mass of a fluid in a section A, mass of a fluid in a section B is equal. So when we equate these two equations, we can get that the product of area into volume is constant, and it is the rate of volume flow, that is volume rate of a flow. And then we define what is volume flux and mass flux. That volume flux is defined as the rate of change of volume of a fluid at any cross sectional area per unit time, and the product of density into the volume flux equal to mass flux. That's it.